I'm JayDennis, and this is the history of my band being ends. No, this is my music/band resume. Basically, at the age of 25 years old, I like to reflect and go, hey, I've been playing guitar since I was 13, and I've essentially been in a band since I was almost 15, so just over 10 years now. It's been a decade, if you can do that math. So I think it's time to reflect and celebrate the minor accomplishments and lay out the framework of how I got to where I am today. So like I said, at 13, I picked up guitar, you know, being heavily inspired by Sum 41, Blink-182, Green Day. You know, I wanted to learn all these punk alternative songs, you know. I kept trying to write stuff that was, you know, punk, alternative. I kept trying to form bands in Claremont, Florida, but I was such a novice, and I was so new to everything. I didn't know how to approach anything. So it wasn't until I was halfway through my freshman year, so I was like 14. This was, you know, late 2005, I think. My best friend of many years got his first bass guitar, and him and I formed a band, and we were heavily inspired at the time by System of a Down. So he was writing a lot of riffs. I was writing stuff too. His music was more rhythmic and more nu metal sounding. So I mean, as you could tell, I, JayDennis, the frickin' creator and front of RAPTOR RIOT, a nu metal band, have roots stenched in nu metal. Even though it was like Sum 41 and other bands from like the 90s and the early 2000s that got me into playing guitar, nu metal's always been a part of my music. Anyway, so that band that me and my best friend formed would end up lasting until late 2011 when we had a falling out and everything went to shit. But during that time, between the years of 2005 and 2011, we were mainly a four-piece band playing like different styles all blended together. We were mixing death metal, metalcore, punk. I would always write heavy, groovy riffs, and I couldn't write a song without adding a guitar solo in it. My best friend, for the most part, was a huge fan of like math metal, math rock, Dillinger Escape Plan, some hardcore bands like Norma Jean. My bass player, because the guy who started off playing bass ended up becoming the vocalist. Bass player, who we first brought in as a guitarist, ended up going to bass, and I was the only guitarist. He didn't write much, but he was amazing to have in the band. Our drummer was super into death metal, so our music did have blast beats and tremolo picking, and like we'd try to incorporate some like intense vocals of that style. During that time, we played a couple of we played probably around like 20 to 30 shows during the course of those years, mostly between the years of 2009, you know, getting out of high school, going into 2011. During that span, we played at least 20 shows. 4 of them of which I would call wildly successful, meaning we had a big crowd that was going crazy, and we played well too. We never got to play on any massive stages or play in front of like thousands of people, but we did some cool shit, and it really sucked in 2011 when we broke up. I formed a new band under the same name because I'd come up with the name, and everybody else just moved on, you know, in anger. Formed a 6-piece band that was supposed to be like post-hardcore metalcore, because that's what was popular in 2012. Like Woe Was Me, Memphis May Fire. That didn't last very long because, you know, band members were kind of flaky, or they had obligations. That's the more polite way to say it. They had other obligations, as did I. I decided, you know, it wasn't working. I decided I wanted to go solo, so I quit my own band, and everything since it was my band, it fell apart because I quit. None of those guys are in bands right now, as far as I know, or doing anything. Now, if I'm wrong, and any of you guys are listening, feel free to comment and let me know. Let me know what's up, because love to hear from you. Anyway, so from the years 2012 to pretty much even up to this day, in 2017, I've been a solo artist. I've been writing music under JayDennis, and if I wrote heavy stuff, I would try to figure out what band name I'd want to put it under. And there were a couple of bands during the years of 2012 to 2013. There were a couple of bands that I tried out for to be vocalist, and I tried to be in. Summer of 2013, I had a pretty successful band. You know, just a band that would practice every week. But the drummer quit, and then it all went to shit. You know, sometimes when the right member quits, it's all just like, well, fuck, this isn't gonna work. I was the vocalist in that band. We had like 3 or 4 solid songs, but we never ended up going anywhere. That was the Aegis Reflex, because, you know, we were trying to come up with a gent sounding name, even though we weren't exactly a gent band. Oh, by the way, the first band I mentioned, you know, that started in 2005 was called Citizen Ravage. And then in 2011, beginning of 2011, I think, we changed it to Athenian Travesty, which lasted until March of 2012. You know, new band, fell apart, bye. But there really are no other bands worth noting that I've been in, except for my own project, which has just been a solo project. RAPTOR Riot came about in 2014 when I essentially, like, seriously wrote my first full nu metal song in a long time, where the song was truly nu metal. In 2013, I'd heard like Falling in Reverse and Attila, and I'd hear these guys trying to rap to metal, so I got into doing that. But then I was just like, I can't really do all these weird screams, except for low screams. I can't really do all these weird screams, you know, high-pitched screams, fry screaming, all that stuff. I'm not very good at it. So I started listening to some nu metal bands again. I started listening to Korn and Limp Bizkit, Linkin Park, all these bands that I liked when I was a kid in high school and all that stuff. Limp Bizkit hit me the hardest, though, in 2014. So from there, I decided, you know what, fuck it. I'm going full-blown nu metal. And in 2014, I wrote my first full nu metal song called Riot Starter. All the stuff I had released under JayDennis, I'd probably written like 5 or 6 singles. None of them ever officially got released, except for maybe on my SoundCloud. But I wasn't happy with any of that work. I was trying to find my sound. I was trying to find what kind of vocals I wanted to do. I'd always been happy with, like, you know, the music, but I was never really satisfied with my vocals until I started doing nu metal. So if you've been wondering what I've been doing the past couple years as a solo artist, it's essentially I've been trying to figure out what the fuck works for me on vocals, because I would try and get good at metalcore or deathcore sounding vocals, and, you know, I started getting good at it in a band, but the band fell apart, and I kind of just lost interest in getting any better at that style. I felt like it was a dying style, even though it's not. That style of vocals, it still sounds great. It's just a matter of the music. But yeah, so I wrote Riot Starter in 2014. I released it and recorded it in 2015. And during 2015, I was writing the Sabotaged EP for RAPTOR Riot, which is still just me right now. But I did all the music, tracked it all at Chinchilla Studios, had Mikey help me with the DJ parts. But yeah, that's what's up right now. I'm moving out west here soon, and, you know, want to do a music video this year. So it's just a matter of finding band members to get on board with stuff that I've already written. But that's what I'm doing, and it's a lot easier doing it now that I'm not in school, and now that I feel like I found a sound that I'm comfortable with. So, like, the biggest thing I want to say is all these years, the reason why I haven't been wildly successful yet is because I was trying to finish school, and I hadn't found a sound yet that I'd been satisfied with. But ever since 2014, coming into now 2017, I got some solid music. I got a good EP. And that may have not been the best demo, but I've got a new song coming out soon. Yeah, that may have is playing in the background, but it's true. If you're one of the few subscribers to my YouTube channel and you listen to this stuff regularly, then congratulations, you have just found out that Raptor Riot essentially has a new song recorded already. But I need to go to the studio and finish it up, add some extra stuff, add maybe a layer or two. I need to redo the second verse. But Raptor Riot is my full-time joint now, and while it's still me right now, I am talking to people and trying to recruit some band members, preferably ones out west, because once I move out there this summer, I'll have something set up, because I want to do a music video. And, you know, on the down low, I'm already writing an album, and this will be the first single off of it. But yeah, it's extremely new metal. It's going to be more new metal than anything you've heard. You know, 2016 was supposed to be like a revival, and it was. A lot of cool new bands came out, and a couple of other, like Korn, Deftones put out material. This year, Limp Bizkit and Linkin Park are putting out material. Linkin Park supposedly is going to be heavy, but there's all these poser new metal bands out there that are basically metalcore bands trying to be new metal, and while a lot of the bands have the elements, they're not new metal. And I'm not trying to be a hater, I'm just trying to educate people on what new metal is. I've been listening to this shit since I was a kid, and you know what? I might end up saying this about post-hardcore music, but I feel like new metal has more of a timeless sound. Like just the other day, I listened to Woe Is Me, and I was bored. Granted, it was the Genesis album. You know, the Numbers album's still pretty good sounding. But I just feel like the whole breakdown post-hardcore sound got kind of played out way quicker. It didn't last as long. And it's not as timeless. That's why I ditched the sound. And because I have more fun. And I think my vocals sound better in the nu metal realm. But anyway, so yeah, I am working in Raptor Riot right now. It's my band, my project, my music. I'm probably going to be collaborating with some people here soon so that I can just finally start laying down vocals on music. But of course, I'm still writing my own songs. Still playing guitar, writing drums, writing bass. I want to get better at record scratching here soon. But, you know, I could talk about this for a long time and go into further detail about stuff. But essentially, that is the history of JayDennis. And, you know, honestly, it wasn't until 2012 that I decided I wanted to start going by Jay or JayDennis. You know, back in 2011 when I had the fallout with all my friends, I was Jared. But ever since I've, you know, adopted my own identity and became more of an individual and worked extra hard, worked overtime to figure out my own sound and what makes me happy, what feels more cathartic and natural, I've been JayDennis. And Raptor Riot, I fucking love alliteration. It is such a 90s sounding nu metal band name. So I'm really excited about where this band's going. And while we barely have 200 likes on Facebook right now, we got a lot of cool shit we're working on behind the scenes. And I am talking to people, collaborating with people. And to any of my old friends or bandmates listening to this, I am moving this summer. So if you want to hang out, hit me up. I've probably already hit you up at some point, but please, I'd love to hang out. I don't think I talked any shit on this recording, but I don't have any bad feelings or any animosity or negativity at all. I'd love to hang out, you know, catch up, see your face a couple more times before I get the fuck out of Florida. And I'm definitely going to make more of an effort to go see more of my friends and their bands live before I leave Florida. You know, I think I went to a local show. The last local show I went to was in November. But now that I'm done with school and I have a relatively flexible work schedule, may as well come out and see all you guys. And, you know, I'd love to do some stuff. But yeah, in layman's terms, that was all the history of Raptor Riot, all the stuff I've been doing since I quit my band, how everything started, when I started, and not going to insult your intelligence any further. You guys just heard everything I just said. Obviously, I didn't make it into a lot of bands because people couldn't quite get around the way that I screamed high, and I didn't really have a mid scream either. I had a very, and I still do, I have a very impressive low scream. You know, you can hear it in my music. But, and I've always been kind of a decent singer, but I thought what always set me apart from other vocalists was my stage presence. Even on guitar, my stage presence was legendary. People fucking loved my guitar playing live, and I went apeshit even though I was playing hard stuff. So that's another thing that hasn't changed about me. But I found a vocal style that I'm more comfortable with. I love doing nu metal. I'm done rambling. Fucking happy Valentine's Day. I hope to see some of you guys soon. Thanks for listening.